Conrad, Coach Condiesel. I want to talk to you guys today about a super debated subject, and that is whether you can build muscle and lose body fat at the same time. And I've always been on the side of you can't. Like, you can either do one or the other. Maybe in the beginning when you're getting some what's called beginner gains, you could do both. Or if you're, obviously using some pharmaceuticals, you could. But otherwise, for general population, it's not possible. And that is actually completely untrue. Before I go into this, like, subscribe, comment. It helps the algorithm. I want to help more people like you. The more comments, likes, shares, the more people put the notification sign on below, the more subscriptions, more people I can actually help. So go ahead and do that if you haven't, if you like my stuff. And if you don't, just don't. So I want to talk to you about how to do that, because it is possible. And the research is showing, and from what I've actually been able to do for the past 2 years with a lot of clients, is build muscle and lose body fat at the same time. Now, there is a certain way to do this, and I'm gonna explain how to do that. And first, let me explain how it really works. So if you think about the human body and energy, right? So we're thinking about basically, say we're building 2 houses, right? And the energy is what we're using to build those houses. If we have muscle gain on one of the houses and we have body fat loss in one of the houses, the energy is gonna be equally dispersed between 2. If we're in too deep of a caloric deficit, meaning that we're eating a lot less, we're burning off a lot more than we're eating, what's gonna happen is all that energy is gonna go towards building that house that is body fat lost. Alternatively, if we are in a caloric surplus, we're obviously not losing any body fat, so all the energy is going towards muscle growth, okay? So you will obviously get better gains, more muscle growth if you are in a surplus or in maintenance calories, which I'll explain at a later date. But what happens if we go in too deep of a caloric deficit? Typically, from my experience, maybe anything more than like 500-600 calories of a deficit. If we go into too deep, what's going to start happening is all that energy is going to go towards body fat loss, and it's not going to go towards lean muscle mass or maintenance. So you could see muscle atrophy or just no growth, right? I've seen both, and it just depends on where you're at. If you're someone who is 80 pounds heavier than they want to be, and you want to lose that fast, I wouldn't really worry about losing too much muscle. I would just put all your eggs in the basket of losing body fat. But if you're someone who's got 10-20 pounds to lose, you want to lose body fat and make this more of a lifestyle and do it more of a slow approach and gain muscle at the same time, this is going to be the approach for you. So I'm going to lay that out here, okay? So number one is you want to get your resting metabolic rate. Now, I don't like using any of the online calculators. They all suck. They're very misleading. What I like to do is just log your food and eat normally for a full week. And when I say log your food, it needs to be surgically precise. Everything that goes in your stomach, it goes in that scale, the food scale, measured in grams, no eating out. So you can get surgically precise and leave no variability into what is actually going to your body. Now, if you're doing this right and you're eating normally, you shouldn't gain or lose any weight. And what I like to do is actually take the average weight from week to week, and I just make sure that it's staying exactly the same. So you can do this for about 7 to 14 days. If you do it for 7 days, obviously you're just taking the average for the first week. If you do it for 14 days, you'll get a better, clear picture that you are actually maintaining your weight. And so what you want to do is basically take the average calories that you consumed over that week or 2 week period. Basically just add up 7 or you add up 14 of the data points and you divide by 714 depending on how many you used. And then what you're going to do is find your average caloric intake. And so that's going to be your resting metabolic rate. And I like to use that the best because everyone's going to be different. Calculators they're kind of BS all over the place, okay? What you're going to do from there is basically just minus 250 or minus 500. 500 caloric deficit should get you about a pound or 2 of body fat loss per week. And that's what we're looking for, because that's going to, those 2 houses I was talking about, that's going to give equally to this house of body fat loss. And it's also going to give this house equally to muscle mass growth. And so to lose body fat, you need to be in a caloric deficit, right? To gain muscle mass, you need 3 things. Water, right? So basically, as long as you're consuming water, you have a lot of fluids in your body because muscle is 80% water. The other thing you're gonna need is a stimulus, right? So that's resistance training or body weight training, whatever it is to actually stimulate muscle growth, some resistance, whether it's with weights or whether it's just with your body weight, depending on your training level. And the third thing you're gonna need is protein, right? Protein synthesis, that's the building blocks of muscle growth. So as long as you have protein, I would say like 0.8 grams per pound of body weight, you have water, like at least at least half your body weight in ounces, and you have a stimulus, right? So making the training sessions harder and harder from week to week, you will see muscle growth week after week. So that's how you do it. 250 to 500. Drink your water. Make sure you're getting your training in, and make sure you're getting enough protein in. And as long as you're doing those 4 things, really, because you're in that deficit too, you're good to go. You're gonna be able to build muscle and lose body fat. Now, obviously, I'm treating everything like you're a robot. You're not a robot. We need to work on the habits and the habits and the behaviors that are going to lead to this happening. So whether you're falling off because you're binge eating, or whether you're stress eating, or whether you just got like super stressed and couldn't log your food, you missed your workouts, whatever it is, that's the real habits that we want to work with, so you can have long-term success and not just these quick fixes. Anyways, that's it. Hope this helps. Like, comment if you have any questions below. I'll always answer them. And yeah, Dylan Conrad signing off. Have a great rest of your day.